What if the most important conversations you'll ever have are the ones spoken without a single word? We are taught to wait for language, for the clear and simple confession, "I like you." But in doing so, we become deaf to a far more honest and powerful form of communication. Genuine desire doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself through behavior. It's the nervous system speaking its most authentic truth, a language most of us have forgotten how to read. We mistake politeness for interest and silence for rejection, completely overlooking the subtle, psychological signals that betray authentic attraction. This isn't about games or tactics. This is about emotional literacy. We will explore 7 critical signals that separate fleeting infatuation from deep, genuine connection, the kind that lasts. These are the layered behaviors that unfold when someone feels a true pull towards you. Understanding them is not a trick. It's the key to clarity, the ability to finally see what is truly being offered beneath the surface of conversation. We are taught to listen for attraction. We wait for the compliment, the direct question, the declaration of intent. We are a species built on language, and so we expect our deepest feelings to arrive announced, packaged in neat, tidy words. But this is a fundamental misreading of human connection. The most authentic form of desire doesn't speak, it behaves. It communicates not through the conscious mind's carefully chosen vocabulary, but through the nervous system's involuntary honesty. It's a language written in shifted postures, in unconscious proximity, in pupils that dilate for reasons other than light. Most people miss these signals entirely, waiting for a verbal confirmation that may never come, or when it does, it's merely a postscript to a conversation the body has been having for weeks. This is not about learning tricks or tactics. It is about developing emotional literacy, the ability to perceive what is truly being communicated beneath the surface of social performance. It's about understanding that real attraction isn't a statement shouted from the rooftops. It's a layered, complex broadcast transmitted quietly and consistently. This is the framework for decoding that language, for finally seeing the connections that matter. Every new human interaction begins with a fortress. We present a carefully constructed version of ourselves, our social armor polished and impenetrable. Our posture is controlled, our speech is measured, our laughter is polite rather than genuine. This guard is a defense mechanism, honed by evolution and experience to protect our vulnerable core from judgment and harm. The first, most crucial signal of authentic attraction is the slow, almost imperceptible dismantling of this fortress. It is not a single event, but a gradual process. You will notice the shift from upright, formal posture to relaxed, open shoulders. You will see hands that were once clasped tightly or hidden in pockets begin to gesture freely. The curated, formal language softens, replaced by spontaneous anecdotes, playful slang, and moments of uninhibited laughter. This is not a conscious decision to be more open. It is an involuntary surrender of control, a physiological response to feeling safe and comfortable. The nervous system is signaling that it no longer perceives a threat, but a potential sanctuary. When someone's social armor begins to dissolve in your presence, they are not just being friendly. They are unconsciously telling you that you have been granted access to the person behind the mask. Space is not neutral. It is a dynamic field of social and psychological forces. We instinctively maintain a certain distance from others, an invisible boundary of personal territory. Genuine attraction fundamentally alters this geometry. It creates a gravitational pull, a force that subtly and consistently bends the rules of personal space. This is signal 2, engineered proximity. This is not about accidental encounters in a hallway. It is a persistent, often subconscious, pattern of behavior. They will find reasons to be in your aisle at the grocery store. They will join a group conversation you are in, positioning themselves closer to you than to anyone else. In a meeting, they will choose the seat that places them in your direct orbit, even if other options are more convenient. This behavior is the body's attempt to close a gap the conscious mind may not yet be ready to acknowledge. It's a magnetic impulse that says, "I feel a pull toward this person's energy." They aren't just moving through space, they are navigating toward you. Pay attention not to single instances, but to the recurring theme. When someone consistently breaks social norms of distance to be near you, without an obvious practical reason, their nervous system is speaking a language of magnetic attraction. After establishing comfort, the connection deepens through a high-stakes psychological maneuver. This is signal 3, the vulnerability test. It is one of the most honest and revealing forms of communication, precisely because it involves risk. The person will offer you a piece of their authentic, unpolished self. This isn't dramatic oversharing or a plea for sympathy. It is a small, carefully chosen revelation. A story about a past mistake, an admission of a quirky fear, a moment of self-doubt. It is the equivalent of handing someone a fragile, precious object to see how they will hold it. In that moment, they are not just sharing a story, they are asking a silent, critical question. Are you a safe harbor? The content of their confession is secondary. The true communication is in their observation of your response. Do you meet their vulnerability with empathy and validation? Do you dismiss it with a platitude? Or worse, do you subtly use it to gain an advantage? Your reaction is a powerful data point that informs their nervous system whether you are worthy of deeper trust. Passing this test doesn't just maintain the connection, it elevates it to a new level of intimacy. Failing it often means the quiet, unannounced end of any real potential. A connection built only on agreement is brittle. Real strength is revealed not in perpetual harmony, but in how a bond responds to pressure. This leads to signal 4, a counterintuitive but powerful indicator of genuine interest. The friction of trust. Once a baseline of comfort and safety has been established, a person who is seriously assessing you as a partner may introduce subtle, low-stakes friction. This is not a fight or an argument. It is a stress test. They might playfully challenge an opinion you hold, disagree with you on a trivial matter like a film's ending, or create a minor, easily resolvable moment of tension. Their goal is not to create conflict, but to gather data. How do you react when you are not in perfect alignment? Do you become defensive and rigid? Do you withdraw emotionally? Or do you navigate the disagreement with grace, humor, and respect, demonstrating emotional security? They are testing the resilience of the connection. Can it bend without breaking? A person who avoids all forms of disagreement might be polite, but they are not testing for depth. Someone who instigates friction and then watches with keen interest is looking for a partner who is not fragile. They are looking to see if the two of you, together, are strong enough to turn pressure into a point of connection, not division. Language can build walls, but proximity speaks a universal truth. The fifth signal, the dialogue of physical space, is one of the most primal and honest forms of communication. It's not about overt gestures or invasions of personal bubbles. It's far more subtle. Observe how someone navigates a room in relation to you. Do they consistently, almost unconsciously, close the distance? This isn't about seeking attention. It's about the nervous system seeking equilibrium. When we are genuinely drawn to someone, their presence has a regulatory effect on our own physiology. Being near them feels calming, correct? This is engineered proximity. They might find a reason to work near your desk, choose a seat near you in a crowded cafe, or stand next to you while waiting in a line. There is no grand announcement. It's a quiet, magnetic pull. This physical closeness becomes a form of unspoken dialogue, a constant, low-level broadcast that says, "My system feels safer and more settled when it is near yours." It bypasses the analytical mind and speaks directly to the body. This isn't a conscious strategy. It's an instinctual drift, a gravitational dance where two orbits begin to overlap, because the space between them feels less like a void and more like a missing piece. It's the body's way of voting for a connection before the mind has even finished counting the ballots. Pay attention to this silent, spatial conversation. It is often the most truthful one happening in the room. Most conversation is a performance. We exchange pleasantries, discuss the weather, and ask, "What do you do?" These are the safe, rehearsed lines of a social script. But genuine attraction has little interest in the script. It wants to read the author's notes. This brings us to the sixth signal, a shift from questions of surface to questions of depth. When someone is truly intrigued by you, they are not just trying to gather data points for a profile. They are searching for resonance. Their curiosity moves past the what and where to explore the how and why. Instead of asking about your job, they ask what part of your job makes you feel alive. Instead of asking where you grew up, they ask what your childhood smelled like or what lessons you carry from it. These questions are probes sent into the deeper waters of your personality, your values, and your private world. They are invitations to reveal the architecture of your soul. This is a vulnerable act for the asker too. It signals that they are willing to hold the weight of a real answer and, in turn, are likely prepared to offer their own depth. They are not just making conversation. They are attempting to make a connection. By asking about your passions, your quiet struggles, or the moments that defined you, they are communicating a profound interest in the person you are beneath the surface-level identity. They are asking to see your true story, not just the title on the cover. The fantasy of a perfect connection is one of uninterrupted harmony. The reality is that all meaningful relationships, even in their earliest stages, will encounter friction. A misunderstanding, a clumsy comment, a moment of mismatched energy. Many fledgling connections shatter at this first test. But authentic attraction reveals itself not in the absence of tension, but in what happens immediately after. This is the seventh, and perhaps most powerful signal. The echo after tension. When someone is genuinely invested, a rupture in the connection feels dissonant and uncomfortable to their nervous system. Their instinct is not to retreat permanently but to repair. They will re-engage. This might be a simple text message a few hours later, a softened tone in their next conversation, or a direct attempt to clarify the misunderstanding. This act of reaching back across the divide is incredibly significant. It says, "The integrity of this connection is more important to me than my ego, my pride, or the temporary discomfort of this moment." They are not just apologizing for an action, they are actively working to restore the energetic field between you. This resilience is a profound indicator of emotional maturity and investment. Someone who lets the connection drop at the first sign of trouble was likely never truly invested. But the one who returns, who sends that echo back to you, is demonstrating that the connection has value, substance, and a future worth protecting. It's a test not of perfection, but of permanence. Understanding these 7 signals is not about creating a checklist to mechanically score a potential partner. A single signal in isolation can be misleading. Proximity might just be convenience. A deep question might be a conversational tactic. The true art lies in recognizing the pattern, in hearing the symphony these signals compose when they play together. Think of it like music. The lowering of one's guard is the gentle opening melody, played by a solo violin. The engineered proximity is the steady, resonant rhythm of the cello section, drawing everything closer. The sharing of vulnerability is a poignant, revealing harmony. The subtle friction and emotional security tests are the moments of dynamic tension and release, the crescendos and diminuendos that give the piece its emotional weight. The dialogue of physical space is the baseline, a foundational hum of unspoken comfort. The questions of depth are the intricate melodies that explore complex themes. And the echo after tension is the powerful coda, resolving the piece and proving its structural integrity. When you learn to listen for the entire composition, you move beyond simple analysis. You begin to feel the music of the connection. Is it harmonious? Is there a consistent theme? Or is it just a series of disconnected, random notes? Real attraction isn't a single sound. It's a layered, coherent piece of music. The goal is not to count the instruments, but to be moved by the symphony as a whole. Ultimately, this framework is not a toolkit for manipulation or a game to be won. It is a language guide. It is a pathway to emotional literacy. The ability to read what is being communicated beneath the surface of words and social performances. For too long, we have been trained to wait for verbal declarations, leaving us in a state of anxious uncertainty, trying to interpret ambiguous texts and second-guess intentions. This anxiety dissolves in the face of clarity. When you learn to recognize the nonverbal language of the nervous system, you are no longer guessing. You are observing. You are seeing the authentic, involuntary evidence of genuine interest. This clarity is liberating. It allows you to confidently invest your emotional energy in connections that are reciprocal and grounded in reality. It also gives you the strength to walk away from connections that, despite pleasant words, show no evidence of these deeper signals. You stop chasing ghosts. You begin building on solid ground. The connections that truly last, the ones that become the cornerstones of our lives, are not built on hope or fantasy. They are built on the profound and steady clarity of mutual, understood attraction. By learning this language, you are not just decoding others. You are giving yourself the greatest gift in relationships, the peace of mind that comes from knowing what is real. And from that clarity, everything else can grow.